Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sachi Gaming channel. Crimson Desert is one of the most ambitious open world games, and currently, a lot of players are asking the same question: can the PS5 Pro actually handle a game of this scale smoothly? Recently, we got a closer look at the game's performance thanks to a technical analysis from Digital Foundry. Their breakdown gives us a much cleaner idea about what the PS5 Pro is capable when running a visually demanding game like Crimson Desert. So in this video, we are going to go through what they found, looking at graphics quality, frame rate performance, and what this might mean for the final release. Before we begin, a huge credit to the Digital Foundry for their incredible technical work. The performance data and analysis I'm discussing here are based on their detailed video. First, let's talk about why Crimson Desert is such demanding game in the first place. From everything we have seen so far, the game is trying to deliver an extremely detailed open world with large environments, dynamic weather system, complex lighting, and large-scale combat sequence. All of these elements requires a lot of processing power from the consoles. Unlike smaller or more contained games, an open world title has to consistently stream assets, manage NPC behavior, calculate physics, and render huge environments all at the same time. Digital Foundry pointed out that Crimson Desert appears to use a lot of modern rendering techniques, including advanced lighting, heavy particle effects, and tense environmental detail. This is great for visual immersion, but it also means the hardware has to work much harder to maintain stable performance. One of the first things Digital Foundry highlighted is just how impressive the game looks visually on the PS5 Pro. The environments appear extremely detailed with rich textures, large draw distance, and a high level of geometry in both landscape and buildings. Character models also seem very detailed, especially during combat sequence. Lightning is another major highlight. The game appears to use advanced lighting techniques that creates realistic shadows, reflection, and atmospheric effects. Weather system also seems to play a big role in overall presentation. Storm, dust, and environmental effects add a lot of visual variety to the world. Digital Foundry noted that all these features together make Crimson Desert look very ambitious for a console game. However, these visual ambitions also comes with a little bit of cost. Now, let's talk about the performance, which is the most important aspect for players. According to the Digital Foundry's analysis, the PS5 Pro can handle many sequences quite well, especially when exploring the world or during less demanding moments. However, during heavier gameplay scenarios, particularly large battles or scenes with lot of effects, the frame rate can start to fluctuate. For example, when multiple characters are fighting on screen combined with physics effects and particles, the system has to process a huge amount of information simultaneously. Digital Foundry observed that during intense moments, the frame rate sometimes drops below the ideal target. This doesn't necessarily mean the game is unplayable, but it does indicate that the engine is pushing the console quite hard. Frame pacing and stability are also important factors. Even if a game targets a certain frame rate, inconsistent performance can still affect the overall gameplay experience. So while the PS5 Pro shows strong performance in many cases, Crimson Desert clearly demands a lot from the hardware. One interesting point Digital Foundry mentioned is that the PlayStation 5 Pro does provide the noticeable advantages compared to the base console of PS5. The improved GPU power allows the console to handle the higher graphical settings and more complex visual effects. This extra power helps maintain better overall visual quality while still delivering a playable performance. However, even with these improvements, Crimson Desert is clearly designed as a very ambitious title that pushes modern console hardware to its limits. One interesting point Digital Foundry mentioned is that the The improved GPU powers allows the console to handle higher graphical settings and more complex visual effects. This extra power helps maintain better overall visual quality while still delivering playable performance. However, even with these improvements, Crimson Desert is clearly designed as a very ambitious title that pushes modern console hardware close to its limits. This isn't unusual for big open world games, especially those trying to achieve a higher level of realism and detail. It's also important to remember that the version analyzed by Digital Foundry may not represent the final release version of the game. Developers often continue optimizing performance right up until launch. That means something like frame rate, stability, graphical settings, and engine performance can still improve significantly before the game actually releases. If the developers focus on future optimization, the final version of Crimson Desert could deliver a smoother and more consistent experience on the PS5 Pro. And considering how impressive the visual already look, even small performance improvements could make a big difference. And I'm pretty sure upgraded PSSR 2 will definitely made a huge impact on PS5 Pro. So overall, Digital Foundry's analysis shows the Crimson Desert is shaping up to the technically impressive game that really pushes the PS5 Pro hardware. The visuals look stunning, the scale of world is massive, and while there are some performance fluctuations in demand scenes, there's still time for optimization before release. It will definitely be interesting to see how the final version performs. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think the PlayStation 5 will be powerful enough to handle the game like Crimson Desert smoothly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe more gaming analysis and performance discussion. See you in the next time.